All right, I need to fix that. My music dies off before the timer does. And as you know, you guys, sorry, we redid everything last week, and we're in the process still of, changing some of these logos to be a little thicker so they're easier to see. But anyway, welcome to Friday. You made it to another cyber social hub, the Cyber Sleuth Show. I almost said Hubcast. We're still working on getting that changed in my brain. But man, it has been a freaking busy week. I don't know about you guys, but spring, right? Yesterday was the first day. And as typical Ohio weather goes, they just said, yeah, not for you guys. Sorry. Last night, literally, I look out the window. It was, I don't know how warm it got yesterday. It got pretty warm here. Like anything above like 50 in Ohio this time of year is warm to me. And I think it was up 60s. I don't know. Maybe it was a little warmer than that. I don't want to over exaggerate here. I'm known to do that. But then in the evening, I look out the window and it's snowing. So from 60s, I kid you not, to snow yesterday. And it didn't stick, but it was snowing pretty hard. I'm like, why? Why am I staying in Ohio? I don't know, but I'm still here nonetheless. So what an awesome show that we have for you guys today. And go ahead and put in the chat now, because I know there's a delay on this, where everybody's joining me from, or joining us from. And I'm always curious to see where that's at. And just say hello, all around hello, because I will put your chat up on the screen. If you guys don't mind, I'll throw it up there. That way it's our way of saying hi back, because I know it's hard to, interact in this crazy world of digital investigations, forensics, OSINT, eDisco, all of those areas. We get so locked into what we're doing that we don't always, have time to actually get out of the basement, so to speak. And it's kind of ironic because I am in a basement, which is even weirder. But nonetheless, it's not my mom's basement, just to be clear, so you guys don't think that. All right. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next one, which is our sponsor here. So I got to flip this open. We actually have a sponsor that's not one of our products, which is good. And it's actually a friend of mine. So I'm going to jump over to that. Media Clone Ezra over there is awesome. And if you guys have seen them at any shows, he goes to a lot of shows. Super all around nice guy. I highly recommend you go and speak with him about how he makes your life easier. And this is one of the products that makes it easier. It's the Super Imager Plus 8-inch T4 portable forensic imaging unit there. I don't know if I could get that all out, but there it is. It's and it's a forensic lab on the go. You're like, what? Highly recommend if you click that. If you guys scan that QR code that I got up on the screen right now, you'll go to the website and you can read all about it. But basically, the unit's configured to do it's a dual operating system, right? From Linux, I think, is one side. Yes, it absolutely is, to Windows 11. And then you, as forensic examiners, investigators, you can run multiple simultaneous imaging sessions. You can do cell phone pulls from it. You can also do triage data collection initially, virtual emulator, or full forensic analysis right from the unit. I'm pointing the wrong way. It's over there. Make sure you guys go and check it out. It's got also ultra fast. I mean, fast. If you've not seen this thing at a show, go see it. Go to the website. I'm sure he'll jump on a call with you, do a demo somehow, but really fast hardware. It helps minimize capture time in the field. And we know you guys are in the field. Like I was attached to narcotics. Now, granted, I never did this in the military. They have a more sense of urgency than I would have ever imagined, right? With collecting this stuff in the field, you want to get in, out, and this can help you can do that. Obviously, when we were in a narcotics raid or something like that, we want to get in, out. Not as much sense of urgency, but still, nonetheless. You can give Media Clone a call there. The phone number is a little small, but it's down there. It's 818-654-6286. Or you can email Ezra and the crew over there at info@media-clone.com. media-clone.com. You can go to the website too. Just click that little guy and off you go. All right, I'm going to bring up everybody's chat right now. Again, huge thanks to Media Clone for sponsoring today's episode. I'm always very thankful for that. It helps, obviously, pay for all the equipment that we need so we can keep giving you guys free information. And by you guys supporting our sponsors, you help support the show in a roundabout way, because it helps keep us doing the things that we can do, like paying for the light bill that's on my blue lights right now. So who do we got? Who we got? Megan, of course, is in Ohio. Yes. Not snowy Utah. So Mountain West for forensics. Not snowing in Utah. When's the last time it snowed in Utah? Just curious. Bill, you're not far. I'm up in the Cleveland area. I know Megan's down a little further along 77. I won't give away her exact town because it's a little small, but I'm up near Cleveland. So I know, talk about football, we'll be fighting. Oh, so it did snow yesterday. See that? That's the way it is. It's a little delayed. So by the time you guys see what you typed and by the time it comes through to me, it's a good 15 seconds. I know it's that way. Now, we're going to be trying something new today. I literally came up with this. Megan, what was it? This morning, I think it was this morning. Literally, we're trying to roll this thing through. And what we want to do is encourage more interaction with you guys. Kind of boost membership as well. Go Steelers. See, you're going to get me banned from YouTube with them swear words, Bill. Those are swear words on here. But so anyway, I'll come back to that in a minute. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't want Bill coming up and knocking a crap out of me. But we're going to give away prizes. And if you guys watched the show in the last 2 weeks, you know that I'm talking about this stupid laser engraver, massive machine. I mean, it's massive. I mean, not really that big, but between the two parts of it, it's got this like multi 6-stage air filter system and then the actual laser on there. We do some pretty fun stuff. I know you really can't see this, but this says forensics on it right here. It's a bottle opener, and it's steel. And on the back, it just says Cyber Social Hub on the back right there. But I cannot bend it. I am not that strong. I cannot bend this. So we're going to be giving away that. I also have, I didn't grab the right one. Crap. I'll grab the back of this. I just won't see the part I messed up. And this is a shot glass that says Cyber Social Hub on it as well. We're going to give this away to you, and a couple other things. We got some stuff. It's just a swag bag. We'll send it to you in a box that looks very similar to a box about this size that I haven't finished making. It comes in a flat sheet. I've already messed this one up, so I got to figure out how to put it back together. So what I'm talking about here is there is a website you must go to and to fill out a secret word. That's it. That's how you get entered into it, and then we'll pick the person at random who wins. Now, here's the catch. Obviously, the secret word you can only get here from the live show. That's it. You can't get it anywhere else. And today's Friday for the live show. We'll give people through the weekend to do it, because we know a lot of people watch over the weekend that people are working during the Friday. I don't know who you poor people are, but you're working on Friday and you're not taking time out to do the show. That's what it is. So I'm going to switch to this scene and see if I mess this thing up. And hopefully I got the right QR code in here. All right. I think I got it. That looks like it's right. All right. So there is the, hey, Vicky, the secret word right there. That's an F. I used a weird font. Sorry, I wasn't actually done. I just realized that. I got talking to Amber, my guest, and then I was like, oh, well, yeah, there it is. That's an F. It's PFIC. That's it. I know it's not a real word. It's an acronym, but it's close enough. PFIC. And you'll see when you go to this website, which I'm not going to show you because I don't have it prepped to show you, is fill out your information. You do have to be a member of Cyber Social Hub. I know. We're trying to get more members, right? Obviously, I'm being transparent here. And then all you do is you scan that, fill out your information, make sure you put the secret word in there, and that's it. We do give you an option up there, Megan. Thank you, last minute. I don't know what I'd do without Megan. So you guys know this. I say this often, but I'm just saying. She put a button at the top. If you're not a member, click that one first. It opens a new tab. Just sign up to be a member real quick. It's free. We don't ever sell your information. We don't ever give it away. We don't do any of that stuff. It's ours. We keep it, and we'll send you some emails. If you don't want those, hit unsubscribe. Now, here's the caveat. If you do sign up for a webinar or for an event where sponsors are involved, then they will get your information with whatever you signed up for just that event. All right. So I want to be transparent about that. So there it is. But it's all forensic stuff. So it's not like we're going to, send you basket weaving or something. Maybe you're into it. I don't know. But anyway, so go to the page. PFIC is where the word is right there. So again, this is good for the weekend. So if you're watching this on Monday, hold on, I got to do some math. 24th, I think it's too late. If you're seeing this on the 24th, it's too late. You have to catch either the live show, which happens on Fridays at 2 Eastern, and then you got all the way through the weekend, and we're going to end it sometime on Monday morning whenever we come in. So technically, I guess if you're up early enough on Monday morning before we pull down the form, you can still get into it. But there it is. All right. So now, without further ado, I messed up the order of my buttons with that brand new scene that I created there. I'm going to slide over and bring my guest on. And you guys know her. I absolutely do. Amber, how are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. It's Friday. We can't be bad on a terrible one. I guess for people like us, it's just another day that ends in a Y. But
Yep.
uh,
It's just
it,
that last day, and we pay attention.
yeah.
I have to say a comment in there from Vicky, how she wants to order a Megan because I love Megan as well.
Oh yeah, there it is. You guys do not steal Megan. I will hunt you down. Just saying.
She's not one of the prizes you get. No.
No, Megan is not the prize that you can get. So I just honestly, uh, I don't know what I'd do without a Megan. So yeah, that would have fallen on my face long, long ago. She is the make sure, and I won't say the word. I'm trying not to get any strikes from YouTube. Trying my best. So far, we have not. How many years have we doing this? Like 4 years
A
now,
while.
something like this. Yeah, and I haven't gotten any strikes yet. I say it out loud. I said the thing. Now someone's
Now
going
I'm
to
going to be
report
really
us.
careful. I
Yeah,
don't
they're
want
going
to
to
be your first strike.
we're gonna get reported for all kinds of nonsense. Now, you guys can probably guess why we had PFIC then as the word. Now, hold on, I gotta switch over to another screen. Make sure I'm not gonna mess this one up. But the topic here, and I'm sorry, I did not. You're a busy person.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
thought I was busy, but I dwarf compared to how busy you are. And you just got back into the country literally yesterday.
I had to run to make my flight. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, um, that's crazy. So you were out of cell phone for quite a while, and I was like, "Can you make Friday? Can you make Friday?" And I know you confirmed it, but that's my brain. I want to confirm twice just to be certain. But I'm glad you made it
I got to teach
here.
you how to use RCS messaging. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, I need to. It's. I'm sure it's built. It's sad. At
It's
one
built
time,
in.
I'm going in there right now. At one time, Amber, I used to investigate cell phones. Now, I'm
And
lucky
now
I
you're
can
like,
run
I
a
totally
cell
forgot.
phone. I
I
I
forgot.
have become my mom. Oh my god.
Oh,
How do I do this? How do I make it RCS? Do you know from an iPhone
it should
where
be
it
in your
normally
settings
says,
in your iPhone. Yeah. The
yeah, I
advantage
don't.
of RCS messaging with iPhones and Android users, because we know I'm an Android user, is
Hmm.
now when you actually like a message, I get your emoji for it instead of person liked your message, which is how it came through on an Android. So it
Yeah.
makes the two talk together better. That's why I like RCS messaging.
Oh, it says though down here in the bottom of my phone. I'm not going to
It
put this
should.
up. I don't want people to see our messages back
Mhm.
and forth of my panic. Um, it says text message dash or circle RCS. So it must now be going to send you RCS.
It should,
I'm gonna
which
like
means I
the.
can get it on Wi-Fi.
All right, I'm gonna like the last one you sent, and it should do it right there. I did it. Okay.
As we both look at our phones going, hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that
It's
works perfectly. Yep. See, so now I get a proper emoji, thumbs up, as opposed to he has liked your message.
yeah. It's yeah. I feel dumb, but that's okay. I can't figure RCS out. Um,
No, they said I
Mia's.
have feedback.
Yeah, I saw that was going to the next one that was coming up. Mia with Bill Steeler Country. What is happening right now? Why? Why? We have feedback from Amber. I'm confused by that. I
Me
don't know.
too.
that means.
I don't know either.
Well, message Amber and let her know what feedback from or to. I don't know. I'm
No, I
confused.
think it's microphone feedback.
Oh no, I everything's showing fine here. Sounds like stereo to me, like an echo. Oh, it may be. Hang on. Hang on. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. It may be on my end. Thank you, Mia, for that. Because, like I said, all the software updated a couple weeks ago, and I haven't really adjusted to it. And if you're hearing Amber twice, it's 100% my fault. And I didn't
I
put
don't
my
have the
earbuds
board.
in. I'm desperately looking around right now because my desk is a huge disaster for my headphones, the small earbuds. But that should help. Mia, let me know if you keep hearing it, okay? Because that's what it is. I had my speakers up too loud, and the anti-echo is not properly
It
quieting
could be
everything.
my ginger power is just overpowering the sound system, and that's why. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
I switched. You know, I was using that big Rode board, right? That massive
Yeah.
board. You've seen it. I took it off. It's actually laying down here on the floor next to me. That's as far as it made it. And I switched to this other piece. Oh, thank you, Mia. Good.
Oh, good.
So I turned the speakers way down. That's what it was. The speakers were hearing going on through. I had my mic cranked way up because I switched this, and it was this is much more powerful. This itty bitty tiny Wave XLR piece, which I don't know if I can move without unplugging. It's tiny. It's much more powerful than the Rodecaster. Um,
You love a gadget, though. Let's
I
be
do.
serious.
I love a good gadget.
Yeah, Mr.
Absolutely love a
Weakness.
good gadget. Um, yeah, somebody just emailed me, said they're watching now. That's weird. I never got an email saying that somebody's watching the show. I just saw it flash across my screen. That's the first. That is a first. So, the topic at hand is where I was originally going with it. Is Amber's running all around the world, and she has some events coming up. So I thought, and again, I apologize to you that I didn't tell you what the topic was going to be. Literally, you came in and we did
That's okay. It's a topic I
pre-show.
believe in.
We did pre-show in the back end, and yeah, you liked the topic though. That was good. So
It is something I do as well, so I have good tips for it.
yeah, I was sitting here thinking, going, what are we going to talk about with Amber? And one of the, I think you're a phenomenal teacher. Always have enjoyed your classes. I've taken a few, seen you speak at many shows, and had you on the show. I don't know. It's probably been at least a dozen times now, close to it, over the years, or at least some type of webinar or event that we host. You've been on a lot of times with us, so always enjoy your speaking. So I'm like, Amber teaches, and she teaches a lot. If you guys have never taken a course with Paraben or Amber, I highly recommend it. And you actually have some opportunities to do that. We're gonna talk about those things. So see, even Megan's got my back. Look at that.
Yeah, thank you,
She's
Megan.
got my back. And why? What better topic than micro learning, especially in digital forensics? Because like you, people are busy in the lab, and they don't always have time to set or take a week off or 3 days off. Sometimes they don't.
Agreed. It's actually really hard because as soon as like I was international for the last 5 days. And so now it's the jack up the caffeine and do the catch up time. So I was working at like warp speed for the last couple hours to catch up today. But I think learning in the micro level also plays to something that many of us maybe don't admit to. It goes to our ADD side because sometimes I have such a hard time if I get too much content. It's almost like my brain just fills up and I'm like, oh, I totally lost something after that hour 4. And it's like, it's gone. I'm not going to find it again. So micro learning is
Yep.
fantastic for those of us who do get distracted as well as busy.
Yeah, and I hope everybody understands what micro learning
I
is. I
was
don't
like,
know.
we should say what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you roll with it because I'm not the brightest bulb. So go ahead.
Yeah. So micro learning is anything that you can learn between 1 to 10 minutes. Usually it's that 10-minute cap that puts it in the micro learning. We have to do it a little bit longer when you get like super high tech information, but it's where we get to implement like quick learnings on YouTube. And no, TikTok is not a micro learning platform, because I know someone just thought that said as they doom scroll, they're micro learning. You're not. You're doom scrolling. But that micro learning is so wonderful for that quick, like, oh, I didn't realize this is how I can do an app downgrade on an Android. You can micro learn that in 10 minutes, 100%. Understand what it is the principle, how to implement it, and then go and do it on your own, which is that last step of especially adult learning, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. I'm testing my new mute buttons too. So if you see me talk and you don't hear anything, please let me know. I'm trying to
Like,
make sure the feedback is very limited. That's happening. But yeah, no, I just thought so. There's a ton of those opportunities out there, um, and the various ways that you can take in micro learning. We used to do that. We don't do it anymore. Is the we called it the daily digital investigator, where we just pick one topic real quick in like literally 2 minutes, no more than 3, and 5 we're pushing it at that point, and just talk about it in, out, and then back off. And we had that on Podbean, and then it was a daily thing, and it just got too much. So
it's a lot to maintain. If you're
it
doing
is.
like a full micro learning curriculum and pushing it out for people, it's a lot.
Yeah.
That's like you're in a long-term relationship with that person, because you're talking to them probably and learning more from them than you are your significant other. It's like, whew, wow, you're putting some effort in. It's very hard to maintain.
Oh boy. Yeah. Now you have something that maybe not quite as micro, but what do you have something coming up? I want to make sure we address that real
Yeah.
quick.
So PFIC is coming up. One of the nice things is Cyber Social Hub is, of course, a sponsor, but one of the things I always like to do, because I believe in learning, if that makes sense. I know people have a lot of different beliefs, but I believe in learning, because I am never going to be the smartest person in the room. There's always something more that I can add to my knowledge base. And so we take PFIC every year and we make it free to people, which is great. And we make it virtual. So this year, our first of the three, it's a series of three this year, is in 2 weeks. It's April 3rd. That one is actually micro learning over the paraben technology side. And those of you who might not be familiar, that's my job. I own Paraben, so it's definitely my job. But one of it is really getting into having the focus on how your technology actually functions and works, because it really is just making life easier, kind of like your little board that can run the whole session. That's really what technology is doing, but we as investigators have to understand how that actually is functioning and working, because that's our burden as an investigator. And so that's what we really focused in on April 3rd. Then in August, we're going to have probably a 2-day based on my call for speakers and how that's going. It's probably going to jack up to 2 days there. Same with November. And that's when the community comes in and presents as well, shares your knowledge
Wow.
or your micro learning topics, whatever they might be. And man, I have gotten some magnificent call for papers. So kudos with when I get a topic because I read all the call for papers. And when I get one, I'm like, oh, I know nothing about that. This means we definitely have to accept this one, because I like people to have the topics that maybe don't get accepted at the mainstream other sides of the events. I've never said no to having someone be really innovative. That's actually what the I stands for. It's the Paraben Forensic Innovation Conference, but it's really about digital investigations, because we have OSINT topics, we have cyber topics, we have DFIR topics. I I just love learning. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's a great event. I mean, I think are we sponsoring this? We're sponsoring this, right?
You are sponsoring this.
Okay.
Yeah, you're one of the sponsors. You're like, I can't remember.
I
Yes,
can't remember.
you're one of the sponsors. Cyber Social Hub. I love my membership in there because I am a natural introvert. And so having an online membership group makes it a little easier for someone like me.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you who might have met me in person, you might realize I'm a tad bit shy and I suck at networking. So once I get to know you, I'm fine. But before then, I'm like, ooh, anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. Okay, I know you now. So I like it when it's virtual and I can kind of just reach out. I love email. I know no one ever says that, but I love email as an introvert.
Yeah. I just posted the link. Now I'll put it into the notes, because obviously YouTube's our home,
Yeah.
where we broadcast live, but we broadcast live simultaneously. The software is insane. We're broadcasting now currently to YouTube Live, to LinkedIn Live, also Facebook Live, X twice live. You're like, what? Yeah, to our Cyber Social Hub account and to my account on X. And Megan, there's one more. Oh, and we broadcast to what's the other one? Rumble, also right now, because we can push directly into their through their RTMP stream. So if there's another stream that you guys want us to broadcast to, please let me know. But those are the basics that are really easy for us because the software is pretty compatible with it. It makes it easy if you just plug right into it to see. And so comment below if you guys are going to head out. But the main point of that is that I just posted the link. You cannot see it except on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, I can't post to X. No one else lets me post back to them.
How bizarre.
Yeah, I know, dirty, right? But YouTube's
It's
pretty.
not. It's not bizarre with X. Let's be serious. Everything is odd there, but
X has me sad right now because we use social media management software. It's the same software you use, actually, and we had to stop posting to X because Elon, to access the API, is $45,000 a month.
Which is nuts.
I don't bring that much money in yet.
I know.
So
save it, go to space instead. There you go.
Yeah, and it paid for a drop of fuel on that last rocket that he went. So yeah, that's why we had to drop a lot of the X, and most of the companies like this drop most of the API X support. Unfortunately, Ecamm is what I'm talking about. That's what I use to all the awesome graphics and stuff that you guys see.
It messed up all the investigative software too. He keeps changing his mind, and so a lot of those API calls for your investigative tools also are now failing for the same reason.
Yep. Remember that tool, that one tool I wrote? It was called Twitter Miner when it was still called Twitter.
Yeah.
It was just a thing. I was using their APIs, and I wrote that command line Python thing, and yeah, that doesn't work anymore.
No, it's like hard no on the API.
Yeah, no, big no on the API. I even had developer keys, and it didn't work. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So let's talk about some micro-learning tactics.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So we talked about YouTube because obviously that's one of your broadcast channel. I think that is the number one micro-learning resource. So that quick push out of content, and I want to give a shout out to a topic we always have to talk about. So AI, everyone's talked about it. You can't avoid it. It's there. I literally have a jar on my counter that is saving up for a robot. I am sure you're going to also buy a robot because who can say no to a robot, right? I'm like, I can get a personalized robot that can do stuff for me. I want that.
I'm all for it. I like Elon so far the best. Is there one that you like?
Yeah. No, I'm saving up for the Elon one. The Gen 3, I think he's dropping the price tag down to like 10K, which I know everyone just went, that's a lot of money. But not for a robot. You can program to do anything you want. I could program it to kill bugs in my house if I wanted to, because that is not in my job description. That's a thing, people. I would do this 100%.
Heck yes.
Yeah. And I actually found out about it by watching some of the feeds from CES actually this year, and watching those as micro learning moments. It helps me stay on top of where tech is going, like my IoT side. You guys probably see some stuff behind my head that are very IoT-ish. And I think that's a great way, by subscribing to those feeds instead of just scrolling through my phone and being like, I'm learning absolutely nothing. I watch those CES feeds as my micro learning moment. So that's one way you can do it, is watching cool feeds like this one is a micro learning moment. The other obviously comes from subscribing to people's YouTube, which I'm all over that. And I have one of my favorite AI ones, and you're going to laugh about this because you know I'm a Star Trek nerd, because her name is Julie McCoy. And she actually calls herself Dr. McCoy, even though she's not a doctor. But let's be serious, it's terribly funny. But the part I liked about her is she created a functioning AI avatar, and she uses the same voice system that you and I have used for AI as well. And so her avatar actually broadcasts for her very regularly. And she's a fantastic subscribe because she looks at AI not from our investigative perspective, but really for what's going to switch and change on it. And I think she gives an interesting generational perspective on AI because she's not in an X. I think she's a millennial. She might be a Z. I can't tell. She has an AI. She's fantastic, though. I highly
Yeah.
recommend it for micro learning about where AI is going. She's a fantastic watch.
And you said, what was the first name again?
Julie McCoy.
I'm going to go look her up. Imagine that.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She even wears a Star Trek uniform when she
What?
does her podcast in her uh, with her AI version of herself, her avatar, which I think is fantastic.
It may start playing. I'll just warn you now. Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
they'll listen in the background.
Yeah. No, I will check her out. I don't want to do it now
Yeah,
because
I
it'll.
highly recommend her. I don't know her. It'd be interesting to meet her, but she was like the one that took it and really innovated with it. It's a very short window as a technology company, I think, to capitalize on AI. And she ran with it.
Hmm.
And she's done some amazing things with it because of it. And I think we're about to hit that AI bubble in our digital investigation space. And so learning about it through your micro learning is one of those really important aspects to make sure that you don't get left behind because it's kind of
Right.
overwhelming. I don't know. I think it's overwhelming. It's a lot of stuff.
It is overwhelming, and there's so many. Excuse me. There's so many different options out there, and then even though what was it? It was DeepSeek when it first came out. They said they weren't sending any of your information to China, right? And then they quickly, like, the
Of
guys
course,
just
that's
plugged it
wrong.
up to Wireshark, and they go, look, it's going like literally Beijing. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
there's YouTube
No.
videos on it. I didn't do the research, but smarter guys conducted the research. It reaches the first place to China and then touches servers elsewhere. But it's so hard to know and have the concepts and understand what it works. And I think microlearning will help people understand, like,
Ooh.
is it truly local? Can you make it localized? Does it reach out? Is it US secure servers? I mean, because it's no joke to get AI to function and to train it properly. It's a lot of stuff it takes to
It
do
is.
that.
It's a process. It's really kind of picking and making a robot in a way. I mean, you've got to have the machine power and everything behind it. And I felt I was slightly behind on AI, even though I was doing things with AI. And I really did start taking those micro learning side of things and relearning stuff and going, oh, okay, that's how a large language model works, an LLM. This is how it obfuscates the data. This is what's happening there. And I think it's a good example of how it can help us. And so when we started designing our tech that's actually going to be an AI platform, I made sure I took all of that information that I had taken in and adjusted it for how a digital forensic professional would use that same thing. And that's what micro learning is all about, is how do I take these small little tidbits of information I've taken in and how do I then apply it to what I'm doing every day? Because you can't just randomly learn just for the sake of learning. I don't know if your brains all have more room in them, you got extra hard drives installed, but my mind palace in there, it gets full and I have to move like the boxes. I use file boxes when I visualize how my brain works. It says I got to move some of those to the deep storage for a while to make room for the new stuff that comes in. Everyone has their own way they kind of visualize their brain. I used to think it was hard drives, but then we got SSDs, and I'm like, oh, I can't quantify that as my brain, so I'm going back to file boxes. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm Gen X, right? I mean, I'm old 386 single core processor, one thread in out, man. That's the brain. That's it. That's most as it can run. there's no more for that. So when you
oh,
look
I'm
at
sorry, it's Julia McCoy. Sorry, someone asked that. I typed it down wrong. This is what happens when I translate down to my sticky notes to remember things.
hmm,
Julia McCoy.
there you go. Yeah, I did see her on there. I glanced,
Yeah.
but I don't want to show anything. I don't know. Yeah.
Now I don't know how that works, so no, but she's fantastic. And it's her avatar. That's the best thing. So we have always joked to sci-fi nerds, because you are as well. The fact that I'm going to have a functioning avatar that is like Amber on the best hair day with her favorite hoodie. I'm almost always in a hoodie. Um, you get genuine Amber on this. So it's like I could have the perfect avatar that does all that for me. So when it's a crappy hair day, it doesn't matter. My avatar's still perfect.
That's right.
This is what you want.
What was that? What was that movie Bruce Willis was in where they got into basically robots that they're quote unquote avatars, and they
Oh
were
yeah,
much
yeah,
frailer. They got into this like pod, and then they could just control their avatar out in the real world, so they were safe the whole time. I can't remember the name of it
yeah.
though.
I can't remember the name of that one. Millie Bobby Brown has a brand new one with Star Lord. I totally forgot his name on Netflix. It was not the best, but it was interesting how they approached the whole robot and how you connected with a robot. And I think we're going to see a lot of those things come out. I totally forgot what it was called. Someone might know if you like pull up Netflix. Like it just released this last week. So I watched it over the week because, again, robots. Most of you don't know that last year I had a massive injury to my ankle. And so I had a hard time walking for the year. If I had had a robot, it would have just carried me. That's how I was looking at it. I'm like, that would have been awesome. Then it can do the steps. It can do this while I can't walk. So there's a lot of purposes for it. I don't think it will ever replace us, but I think it's going to take up a lot of the things that we run out of time to do.
Yeah, I think this is the Bruce Willis one, Surrogates, is what it was
Surrogates.
called.
There you go.
Because I completely forgot what it was, and I'll look up the other one. I'm trying to make sure that no other ads or anything show that's gonna YouTube and their rules. Have you ever read through YouTube's broadcast rules? It's
Oh,
insane.
they have lots of rules.
Yes, lots of rules. Yeah, then you go on like TikTok or something like that, and they just throw those right out the window. There's no
Yeah,
rules. You can
whatever.
play whatever music you want. Doesn't matter. Here we had to license our intro theme. License
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
We have to pay for licensing. I pay for that every month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid. Anyway, not stupid, but kudos to the artist. But the rules are so all over the place.
There are a
But
lot of
no,
rules.
AI is coming so far all over the place, and I'm excited. At first, I was like, okay, it's going to kill everyone, and I've seen too many Terminator movies, and it probably will, but I'll be too old to really care at that point. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to die. Might as well have AI do it. It's better,
I never thought of it as killing me so much as it's so let's put it this way. I take since I'll go to our micro learning. So I take all these different topics I need to learn about because there's always a lot. And I will actually input them into AI for it to give me a summary that makes my micro learning even more efficient. I couldn't do that as a human. It would take me hours and hours and hours that I don't always have every day to stay on top of things. And there are ways, I know someone's immediately going to type in the chat, what about hallucinations and you learn the wrong thing? But depending on how the AI is designed, it is perfectly okay for an AI to say, I don't know. And then you can also cross check one AI with another AI as part of your learning process, which I think is super great way to make sure you're getting proper content. I know we're taking like a right turn, but it does all go back to micro learning because it makes it so it's a faster way for you to learn. It's almost like Cliff Notes. Didn't that just date me? I totally use Cliff Notes.
Yep.
Scarlet Letter was tough, people. Cliff Notes helped. Totally helped. Or The Crucible, ooh, that was a difficult read.
And now that's what AI does. It's like we use Google Meet for our meetings generally here. And we now have a button that we used to be able to record the call to go back and review it. And then and then it was transcribe. Now it's summarize. There's an extra button in there where AI listens to the whole thing and literally takes my ramblings, which I ramble, way down in one paragraph is it the whole meeting. And I'm like, where was that in college? Where was this
Oh,
thing?
that would have been nice.
I know. Cliff Notes. They shouldn't have
That's the Cliff Notes version.
there you go. There's your AI software idea for college kids. Call it Cliff. and it takes notes for you. Done.
It's actually really hard to name an AI. Do you know how many names are taken? We're back to like that .coms time where it was so hard to get a domain. Trying to
Yeah.
get a name for your AI, that took me actually, and yes, I checked it in AI before I picked my AI's name. It took me like 2 hours
Wow.
to actually name my AI because so many of them are taken. There's an Amber AI out there. I was like, how could you take that?
Really?
I'm like, dang it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, took a name it after me.
Now imagine though I see that teddy bear behind you, and I think that's that doll.
Yeah, it's
The
just those are the smart.
Kara.
They're all I. Oh, this way. They're
Is
all
it?
I can't get it right. They're all
It's
IoT back there.
that's right. Because what was her name? Kara or something like that?
Kayla.
Kayla. Yeah, because we actually got my daughter that thing, and she
Oh, you
played with
got
it.
it for. Oh.
Yeah, for a week, and then we quit because I saw your research on it, and I'm like, yeah, we're done. But imagine now they're gonna start putting AI in them things.
We see
It's
that with Alexa. Did you see? They just announced with Amazon that they're making the Alexa the smarter version, so the AI version.
yeah,
But I think it's if you guys have an Alexa device, you have to opt out by the end of March, I believe, to make sure that your recordings aren't put into the new Alexa AI from your old Alexa because they're using all of our data to essentially create that LLM inside of the new Alexa to make her smarter. And then anyone who has Amazon Prime, so you have that's all you need, and you're automatically subscribed to the new smart Alexa,
yeah,
smarter.
yeah.
Okay.
I know she announced that because it pops up whenever we get a package delivered. She'll alert that something's going on in the world. Um, and then I go, you just yell. I'm not going to say the name in case somebody has it, and
I
the
just
A
tell
word,
them.
and then notifications, and then she just says the notification. And she's basically, it made me chuckle. My wife and I kind of laughed because it was basically saying there was a smarter version of herself. So it's like she's talking about herself like she's the idiot, and then of course we think AI is human for the most part anyway. So I felt, man, they made her say that she was dumb and the new one's coming.
I made mine smarter just because I gave her a British accent, so she sounds smarter.
Oh yes, that's an instant at least +2
I know. I was like, "Ooh, you sound lovely. I
on the
totally
special
believe you when you
scale.
don't listen." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
the
excited to
special.
see how she learns. I have set patterns in mind because of how I use her.
Yeah,
And in theory, she is going to keep a private one in there that is how I use her because she's my sous chef, so to speak. I use her a lot with my cooking, and let's see if she like starts getting smarter. Like she knows that X amount of time is equal to the raise time on bread because she's had it told to her so many times. And then we'll see if the AI gets smarter. I'm going to write a paper on it after I finish doing all the testing as she gets more educated. We'll call
yeah,
it that way.
Vicky,
Maybe
we
she's
could.
using it is a form of micro learning. It's just off of us.
Yeah, I use, man, podcasts, books, and of course that's right in with the Amazon stuff. And my favorite quote unquote micro learning is I listen to a lot of ebooks or try to, and I've been failing at it. So I had to switch away to something that was more engaging to my brain. Is these shortened podcasts that are out now? They just summarize. At least one in particular that I found. I listened to Alex Hermosi, and obviously he was with Jim Launch and all kinds of stuff. He massive businesses. Now he has a podcast that he tries to keep the learning points really short and sweet in there, because understands entrepreneurs are like really
Perpetually
busy
busy.
and love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
I have a I have a couple tools that I take, and I can put a book or a PDF in, and it will make a nice summary for me because there isn't a Cliff Notes for it. That saves me a lot of time. So if I'm reading like a business book that's a little bit slower of a read, it will optimize the time I spend. And I look at that as a form of micro learning as well. The only time I actually read a whole book cover to cover is actually a novel because that's my brain break. Does that make sense? I just
Mm-hmm.
started reading a dragon book and I was like, oh, it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I love audiobook. I'm lazy though. If I read, that's like my version of a taking a sleeping pill. For some reason, as soon as I start reading, I'm instantly tired. I'm out. Um,
Ah,
but
I
audiobooks
have
different in my brain.
audiobooks can put me to sleep. I actually listen to Lake Wobegon to put myself to sleep. I know it's been on forever. And so I have them all queued up on my phone as my natural, like someone's telling me a story. I guess I never got off of that as a kid. And so now it's like here I have Garrison Keeler telling me a story as I go to sleep. And I learn about Lake Wobegon. So, yeah, I'm an insomniac. So that helps me as a business owner, but does not help me for my health.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some other good examples of micro learning? Where can we find resources in this industry? That's challenging to really do because when we talk about digital investigations, that's the broader term of phone, OSINT, forensics, eDisco. I kind of bring that in as well.
I love that you call it e-disco too.
Yeah, I feel
Yes,
like they're
music
the
sound.
stepchild that gets out there because I want to bring them into the fold. It's like, come on, somebody likes you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because
I think
it's
they're going to probably be
it's
affected
rough.
by our AI more than any of the others are too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, well, you introduced me to Brian from
Hmm.
indexed.io, and that's what he does, right? Was the eDisco with the AI now, and it sifts through just mounds of data and helps, you know, these folks preparing for these massive legal cases to really parse down so many, I can't even, so many pages of information, just
Oh, yeah.
summarize it down for them.
It's shocking, I think, how often, and no one ever talks about this in discovery, how often people still will request things printed only to make the other side scan it. I'm like, that's so inefficient. I'm like, you guys are just doing it to kind of be mean to each other. I think that's why they get that in parentheses, sometimes mean discovery there as part of the process. But yeah, AI is perfect for that because it all cares about large amounts of data. I'm all about the one we've been designing is having that perfect like assistant with you working a case because it's always better when you work in a team because you're like, well, what about this idea? What about this idea? And you kind of go back and forth. And that's where that gap gets filled. You just have to do it. For me, for forensics, you have a specific design for forensics, but the same for e-discovery with what Brian was doing. I watched that um, the Cyber Sleuth show. I had to get the right rename. I watched that
Hey,
broadcast and I thought it was really interesting.
I still mess it up. You got the show name right. I still call it Hubcast by default.
I have it
So
printed
thank
there.
you.
It helps.
Oh,
It's right
yeah,
there.
that's
I have it
true.
right on my screen.
The only
But yeah,
reason is we had to put the logo up, so I remember what we called it. And
but yeah,
Vicky
I think it's a
has no
that's a great
idea.
goal. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Vicky, you know me already, so you might. Yeah, that's very true. Just ask Megan. Amber can ask that too. It's just my brain goes squirrel, and then off it goes.
yeah.
I was
Mine
going to
is
be nice
so
and not
excited.
mess with your Alexa. I'm not even trying to say it where it recognizes it. I was so tempted to just go, "Hey, play this song real quick," and just have everyone's turn on. Yeah. Anyway, I won't do it.
Yeah, I have mine disconnected because I was researching with her and she kept turning on. And even when I changed her command name to like computer, I got my Star Trek moment. Um, I oddly say the word computer often. So she would like pop up, pop up, pop up. Yeah, neurodivergence definitely abounds on this. Yeah, both of us together. I'm like, yeah, I've got my ADD, my OCD, I've got my dyslexia. I have them all. I'm like a fruit salad of neurodivergence. Maybe a jello salad in there.
Yeah, we tend to go all over the place, but that's okay. It makes it fun. That's like I call it it's the really bad late night talk show that we do in the middle of the day. So there, what it is. That's really what.
Perfect.
Yeah, and we talk about nerd stuff and how to make sense of nerd stuff. It's really what it is.
That's totally what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So, part of our, since we've talked about her, I see like I've taken a new philosophy to our training. We have like the longer classes when you want to go end to end with
Hmm.
in-person materials, but we've now created like again micro learning sessions on more technical topics. You end up with like 1 to 2 hours. I don't think digital forensics or OSINT or anything can really be consolidated into a 10-minute learning session unless it's like You only want to know this tiny, tiny thing here. But everything else, it's like still being able to do that and walk away and say, okay, I really understand X, whatever it may be. That's fantastic because when you get prepped for a case and you're using whatever it may be in there. So if we're looking at IoT and we're looking at her Miss Thing and the data she collects, since we're not saying her name, being able to do a micro learning about that topic just preps me for court better, as opposed to having to go like, oh, I got to attend another 5 days of this or whatever. It kind of just reassures you. I don't know about you. I always get nervous, not because I don't know the material, but because there's always that mystery of what other things that someone might bring up that is new to me. And that gets brought into my court case or whatever it might be. And microlearning is a wonderful way to kind of reassure yourself, take a smaller class from one of the many vendors out there. I know you actually have some trainings, I think, in the hub.
I used to. We pull them, and we're just looking for partners right now. So if you guys offer training and want to put classes in for free, that's the only caveat. They have to be offered for free because everything we offer is free. If anyone wants to ever put classes in, feel free. We'll load them up and let people take the courses for free.
And
so yeah,
people
we're
don't
looking for
be
people.
intimidated by that. You have something that you might know better than anyone else. That's why we're a community, right? It's to share that. That's why I always encourage new speakers at PFIC. Same reason. It's like, give yourself a chance to share that. You could be a resource for other people that could save their case.
100%. I remember when I first started speaking, I had big time imposter syndrome is what they call it, right? It's like, you don't think that, I was only in the industry for, well, granted, I lived in a lab and hid there forever. And then kind of started creeping out into the techno security conferences is where I started talking. Well, no, I think it was HTCIA conferences originally. And then off to other conferences. And I've actually spoke at your event. When it was in Pittsburgh area, Steeler people. Yeah. But yeah, I do remember that. And it's intimidating. It's scary because especially from your peers, you're like, oh man, if I say something wrong, then that's it. I'm done.
Are they going to yell at me or make me feel stupid about it? I first talked about cryptography.
Yeah.
And since I'm dyslexic, that kind of works in my brain. But I had math in one of my slides, and I had Dorothy Denning in my class, who is brilliant. I know it's an old school, it was a while ago, but she's like crazy brilliant. And she raised her hand and she's like, your math is wrong. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, hang on. I said, the theory isn't wrong. It's just the math. I'll have to correct it, but I can't correct it on the fly. Like I have to put a lot of work into that. But she was so nice about doing that it's that community. If anyone is mean to you in a presentation, kick them out.
Yeah.
Like you don't 100%.
Need that. I've never seen it happen. And I've seen a lot of presentations. I've never seen it happen, but, and if someone is wrong, usually the community is nice enough to help step up, say, hey, this is what I found. I'd like to compare it with what you're finding. Yeah. That way we can kind of find the right way to move forward with this. Yeah, it was.
I think mine was just a decimal place off. That was it. It was just a simple math error. And I'm like, oh, thank you for pointing that out. Let me fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the community is usually really good with that. So you have call for speakers still open for
I do.
Your events. I'm going to switch back over there here real quick.
I do for summer and the fall or winter session because it's in November. So it depends where you're living on how you would consider that. But yeah, call for speakers still open. And it's not crazy painful. I'm not asking for a dissertation. It's just tell me about the topic. I personally read them and be like, okay, that's going to be a benefit. The only thing I ask is that they're not pitches for something you're trying to launch. You can show screenshots of things, but I really want you to show the learning aspect.
Yep.
I've always been really careful with that. Owning a software company, it kind of is like, oh, I'm in a sticky situation, but I've always taught the how behind the tech. And I think that's what people really want to learn.
Yep. You're spot on. And I credit a couple of my old bosses, supervisors, mentors in the industry that taught me those things, that exactly what you just said. Teach the concept, teach how to solve the problem. And it's so, oh, hey, by the way, this is the tool we're using to do that.
Yeah.
You can use
I
that,
solved
but
it with
here's the
this.
concept.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I would love some more call for speakers. And don't be intimidated because it's virtual like this. So at the end of the day, it's a lot easier to start speaking to a group about a topic you know about when it's virtual than it is in person. And it's just going to prep you for doing an in person event. I haven't taken PFIC back to in person yet because I want to make sure that we don't have any borders to it. And that's why I've kept it virtual for the last couple years. Is our enrollment has just skyrocketed to be able to offer it in different countries, so on and so forth. And they can
Yeah.
use an AI to translate it too.
There
Boom.
you go. There you go. You know me. I'm a huge fan of virtual events. Like Vicky says, it's less heckling is what she said. There we go. Yeah. You just, well, I don't know if it's less. You just can't hear it.
You can't hear it. That's part of it. It's less intimidation, definitely for sure, because
Right.
you're just talking to a camera. But I think it's a great way to share the learning you've had with others and kind of make the community better. Because again, you cannot research and be an expert at everything. It is an impossibility.
Oh boy. Oh boy. It's insane. Now they can sign up for semi micro learning. They're a little longer
Yeah.
than standard micro, but an hour is still less. An hour a session is still a lot less than a 5 day, 10 day course that it's hard to take time off. It really is. I get
Yeah.
it. But
And you get to rewatch them. That's a big
yeah,
thing. Since we talk neurodivergence, for someone like me who's dyslexic, I typically have to watch content 2 or 3 times to make sure I get all the things out of it I want. And I take handwritten notes. That's the one time I'm not using AI to make my learning faster, just so I have it translate into my brain. That output through handwriting actually is a big key to learning. And I even do that with some of my micro learning as well.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
I've had two
old
cups of
school
coffee.
notepads, people.
Yeah, I still use it as well. I had 2 cups of coffee this morning, and it's still affecting me. So normally, and I don't know where I saw this stupid stuff. Yes, I do. It was Joe Rogan's podcast many years ago at this point now, and it's called oh my god, Alpha Brain, I think, something like that. And
Oh,
some people say it works, some people doesn't. My brain, it laser focuses me, no doubt. I literally, it's not cheap. I'll just warn you now. And I bought a couple bottles, but man, I can lock in because normally my brain's like, ask Megan. It just, I'm thinking of all kinds of things that need to happen. Um, but yeah, that's one thing that helped me
interesting. I
lock
haven't
in.
tried that one. I have the problem
Yeah.
where my brain is very loud all the time. So it's threaded and it starts talking, oh, you're learning about micro learning. Hey, have you done this? Or, hey, did you look at that last thing that happened to this file system? Or, oh, and don't forget that you need to read the next chapter in your dragon book. So it's just talking like it's like an EDM concert in there. It's a whole bunch of mixes all the time.
Really? See,
Hmm.
mine doesn't do that. Hang on, I got to type this to Vicky real quick. I think that's right, Vicky. I typed Alpha Brain by On It. I think if you search for that, you'll find it. But so my wife has that when she tries to lay down at night to sleep. She said her brain's constantly like
Yeah, you're
doing
like,
all
be
this and
quiet, I
think.
need to sleep.
I have no problem once my head hits pillow, blink,
No.
brain's off.
It's actually why I've always had problems with sleeping, is trying to get my brain to just be quiet. I started a new thing over the last couple months where I could actually get rest because it's almost like I hit a pause button on all the mixes
Yeah.
and it was just quiet in there. And that's
Wow.
what I woke up the next morning. I'm like, oh, it was so quiet last night. Yeah. And it's really just what's happening in my own brain. So your
Yeah.
wife's probably got a little bit of OCD in her as well as her neurodivergence. I think that's one of the causes to having it so loud in there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I didn't know it existed, honestly, because and I saw of all things, it was either in a reel or TikTok something. Because I watch all that stuff because it makes me laugh. I like to laugh about dumb stuff, and those do. And this guy, you guys have probably seen it. He's laughing. His wife's in there, and she's sitting next to him, and he's just laughing and nonstop laughing. He goes, he's telling the story how he falls asleep, and he just falls asleep. And then he talks about what his wife happens to his wife, and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Same thing. It's just nonstop talking, and she actually goes, my brain just starts going da 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 da. I'm like,
Yep.
what?
And it gets a sound going and you're like, oh, I'm over here. Don't get me wrong, it's great during the day that you're like, I'm getting a lot of stuff done. But I think for a lot of people, when you only try to focus on one thing, it actually is, you almost feel like something's wrong. So I listen, someone asked, so I listen to different types of music based on what I'm doing. So when I'm learning, like I'm learning high tech stuff, I actually listen to opera, which I know sounds very crazy, but there's something in the way that the opera music actually tones through your brain that it allows you to retain more of high tech information. I do the
Hmm.
same thing if I'm writing really technical papers. I listen to opera.
Hmm.
I know everyone's like, I don't listen to opera at all, crazy lady, but it's actually really good for you.
Megan
And then
likes opera. I knew she was going to say something there, but yeah.
yeah, I love opera for that. But when I'm like, I need to quickly modulate through, or sometimes if I'm linking different things in a case, I pull up YouTube and I hit my favorite EDM artists because that's telling my brain to pop to different locations. So it actually benefits my learning process if I'm trying to cross correlate data. So I switch over to a different style of music for that. I don't know, maybe other people do this. This might be Amber's crazy neurodivergence, and my YouTube history is pretty serious, but it's like it's a huge benefit for how you actually take in data into your own brain is how what you have playing at the same time.
Hmm. Hey, Chris is saying he wants to know the process. You said you started to quiet your brain. He says, what's the new process?
So part of the new process is obviously I do not micro learn before bed unless, so here's the caveat. So if I have a problem I need my brain to solve, I front load my brain before I actually go to sleep sometimes. So it's like, okay, I need to solve X, and I have not figured out a solution to X for 30 to go to sleep. I front load it with all the information I have, and I tell my subconscious to work on it. And typically by the next morning, I have an answer. But everyone's like, that's probably crazy, but it's not. There's an analogy that someone showed me that they showed like a top of a table, and then they put their fingernail on the top of the table. And they said, this little part that my fingernail overlaps, if this table is your brain, is actually your conscious. Everywhere else on the table is your subconscious. Your subconscious is so much more powerful than your conscious mind is. So if you feed it right, man, you're solving some stuff in there. The other thing I do have to take drugs to sleep. They're over the counter stuff, which is great. And I made sure they're not addictive. I avoid melatonin as well because that messes my brain up.
Hmm.
It actually causes me to have horrific nightmares. Like if you want your data to attack you, then take it's like it became like monsters and they're like crush you and everything. Yeah, that's exactly what was happening. I'm like, okay, this is bad choices, bad choices. So yeah, hit me up after if you want, and then I can pass on what I found that has been beneficial to me. But I also changed to a consistent listening before bed. I was very serious about Lake Wobegon. You guys can look it up. It had been on for like, I think it's like 50 years of broadcasting.
Hmm.
So it has a crap ton of sessions out there that you can listen to. And it's all this fictitious place. But he has a certain tone to his voice that actually calms your brain. He hits the right levels in a baritone that actually make your brain start going, oh, I'm stepping away from this, and so on and so forth. And it actually calms it down. I know. I realize this is weird. It does help with your learning too, but
Hmm. No,
yeah.
I 100%. I don't know if I've ever told you the story. I'll make it quick because I see what time it is. It's 4 minutes after.
Oh,
How did that happen?
I don't
Anyway,
know. We started talking about the brain and how we
it's
learn.
our
So
show. We can do what we want. There's no commercial breaks. We just keep going. But that's how I learned how to ride a motorcycle was through sleep.
oh,
So I was, watching, trying to learn how to shift gear, clutch, throttle,
yeah,
everything.
that's a lot.
And my brain didn't like that. But, I tried to learn it in the day, and then I went to sleep one evening. I remember it still vividly to this day. And this has been, I mean, I was in Was I just out of high school? I think so. So a long time ago. And I woke up and knew how to just do it. I can't explain still how to, I just knew how to do it. My brain had gone through it so many times in the night that I learned how to do it. As I woke up, I was like, all right, let's go out and try this. I just bought a motorcycle. I had no idea how to ride it. And I knew how right then and there. So,
You
yeah.
were programming your brain to micro learn that topic.
Yeah.
And I know since that is
Crazy.
our overall topic, I mean, the way your brain approaches data is really how it's going to take it in as a micro learning session versus a long term learning session. It kind of chews on it. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's something that is going to take forever to learn, it's going to take a while to chew it through your brain and be like, okay, I feel like I got it. But that usually takes like learning it, applying it, and then relearning it, applying it, and doing that over and over again. But when you talk about micro learning topics, it's prepping your brain with whatever it may be to take that information in and then be able to output it again to someone else.
Hmm.
I think that's the trick to really solid micro learning. But that last part's important, which is the outputting it to someone else. Because that tells you your brain actually had it go into the file system and it's being stored in there. It's stuck.
Hopefully. I'm
Yeah.
getting older,
Well,
so I may start dumping stuff I don't need anymore.
like I
uh,
told you, I have a back storage in my mind palace. If you haven't heard the whole analogy of the mind palace that came out of Sherlock, he actually described that. Um, and it was Benedict Cumberbatch, his version of Sherlock Holmes. He describes the whole mind palace system. And when he did, it gave me such a new visual for how my brain actually functions. And once I understood that, I was able to hone the way I learned better because otherwise it's just that EDM concert all the time and it's like stuck in Ibiza. So it's like, yeah, it's having a good time in there, don't get me wrong, but it's like, no, let me figure out how this is actually functioning. And I was able to reorganize the way that I actually take in information.
yeah, and in this industry, it's rough because the information's changing every sinking day.
Oh yeah.
It's something new comes out. It's just so a new device will come out that is capable of doing XYZ, and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get the data? You have to stay up on it. You have to constantly be learning, and that was micro learning. It's really what it is. You just
Yeah.
have to learn little pieces at a time, and it keeps you on top of it.
So here's a good example of that. So I was going out and researching some of the new, we've had a lot of patches come out for the smartphone firmwares. And so I went on eBay, I bought a device,
Oh, right.
I have to get it in there. And I was like, okay, this looks good. What is it? This should be an S24, a Samsung S24 Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a clone.
Ooh, it's cool
We've
looking.
got clones again. I'm so excited for this, actually. It's ridiculous. But it was that random learning. I change what my platform is. So I actually check eBay as a learning platform. I know that sounds really bizarre. But when you start seeing what people are buying, that's telling you where a trend is changing in electronics. And so I'm going to have to expect that in my investigations. And I started seeing these Galaxy S24s that were selling for $130. Okay, so it wasn't that much money, which I'm like, suspect? Yes. Because normally it's over $1,000 for this phone. And I'm like, now I got to buy one. I got to buy one, see how it comes in. And it kind of reminded me back to the old iPhones that were iPhone,
Oh yeah.
cracked me up to no end. I have a pile of clones that we're seeing that topic come in and kind of be impactful to our industry again. So that's my last little micro learning thing is change what platform you're learning on from YouTube to I know eBay sounds crazy as a place to learn, but you see what people are buying, that's what they're doing. You can't see the
100%. I
stats.
like it.
Yeah, you can't see the stats behind Amazon, but you can on eBay.
Hmm.
So switch it
That
up.
is interesting. Let me know how that thing works. It's not like the old ones. I'm
Oh,
sure. I'm sure
oh,
it
it's
because my old
awesome.
iPhone that I got when I was in Abu Dhabi one time. Man, it was that thing. Like swipe it 4 times to maybe get it to go once.
This this is heavy, it's high quality, it
Ooh,
responds correctly.
wow.
It's still running a version of Android on it, but I haven't done the full checks to see how much of its data it's pushing back to somewhere else.
Right. Spot
Yeah,
on.
so it's going to get a sock puppet on it for sure, and I'm going to
Yeah,
see how it lives on there for a while to determine how these clones are going to be impactful to us in digital forensics.
very cool. Well, it is 10 after, and I don't
Yeah.
want to keep you. I know you're busy. You just got back into the country, but I so thank you for literally you got in last evening, I think it was. You messaged me as soon as you got
Yes,
back in
I
country.
hobbled my way in between my flights to try to get through Chicago, back through security, and I literally made it in, and they had already rebooked me somewhere else. And I was like, "Are my seats still there? I would still like to get on my original plane." And I did. I'm like, "I would like to go home." So
Yeah.
every time I leave the country, I miss peanut butter. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I'm like, I have to come back and have my peanut butter sandwich, my peanut butter
Peanut
and
butter.
jelly sandwich.
That's funny. Well, I'm gonna mess with everybody one last time before we part here, and I'm just gonna say, Alexa, play Taylor Swift. You're welcome. Thanks, Amber, very much for hanging out. Don't go anywhere.